Well, let's go to a call real quick.
Go
We
ahead.
have Margot on the line. Margot, what is your question?
Hey, Margot.
Wondering if vessel mechanics and port engineers qualify as seamen under the Jones Act. My husband's one of those, and he's on the boats all the time. You're usually docked, but he does sometimes have to go out in the water.
Margot, what you said is important, that he's on the boats, that he's on the boats all the time. The test to be a Jones Act seaman is that you spend 30% roughly of your time assigned to a vessel or a fleet of vessels. People like your husband probably get moved around from boat to boat. That's perfectly fine as long as there's a common ownership of the boats. Gets complicated, but generally it sounds like he's going to be qualifying for the Jones Act.
So when you say on the boat, it's not actually in the water. You can be on the boat docked for 30 days, correct?
Boats will typically be at dock for a period of time. So
Right.
yes, you get into what you're talking about there is the status of the person, whether they qualify under the Jones Act. But keep in mind, even if they're not under the Jones Act, they may pick up maritime law as a claim against a third party, or they're going to have rights under what we mentioned at the outset, the Longshore Act. So these individuals do not ever typically fall into a state comp situation, and generally state comp laws are not very helpful for the employees generally. We're talking about totally different laws that really try to help the employees a lot more.
Yeah, in state comp, we talk about it all the time. Like, again, if you're working at a grocery store or, just a normal job, not on the water, and you're hurt, then if you're hurt on the job, your employer has to pay you for your medical bills, no questions asked. As long as you weren't goofing off or, on drugs or drunk or something like that, you were going to get compensated. Now, the compensation is not nearly as good because you don't get pain and suffering, mental anguish, things of that nature. But when it comes to Jones Act, the benefits are better. And so, again, instead of just going into this by yourself, and I can't tell you how many times I'll say, well, I didn't call you first because I talked to my next door neighbor and they went through something like this and I went ahead and settled the case. Don't do that. Speak to someone first. Even though they have good intentions, talk to someone who does this for a living.